What is happening, everybody? My name is Mike. This is Health and Wealth. Thank you so much for joining me. We're on edit number, 10 of the start of this video. I had audio issues, I had video issues, and I had just mic issues. That's me. And thanks for tuning in today. I'll put the blooper at the end. I'm talking about Alti today, ULTY. This is episode 6 of season number 1. We're going to episode 12 before we flip over to season 2. If you've been following along, I've been sharing my journey of buying shares into Alti, been talking the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today's looking pretty ugly on the market in general. That video, I'm going to show you a video right now of my favorite TV show, which is The Office. And I really feel like this kind of just translates what a lot of the retail investors out there are feeling or are doing. I think it's important to, follow your own procedure, create a plan before it happens. When markets are crashing, or not crashing necessarily, but going down and the share price of your ETF is going down. What was your plan? What's your plan? Are you going to hold? Are you going to buy more? Are you going to sell? Right. And so that's what I'm here to talk about today. I was talking to a friend about potentially buying. He ended up watching one of my videos. So we'll talk about that in this video too. I'll also talk about what I am going to be buying on Monday. And I hope you enjoy the content. If you do, hit the like, the subscribe. Also, I want to do a quick shout out to everybody that has supported this channel in the past with those super stickers. They're down at the bottom of the screen down there. Thank you so much for that. The super chats, all of that. I'm going to flash all of your names and donations up top here. Again, thank you. Unnecessary, but it's very much appreciated. This is what I talk about to my family all the time, how generous the community is to help me and support my channel. So enjoy that. Let's go take a look at this clip of my man, Dwight Schrute.
Does anyone smell anything smoky?
Did you bring your jerky in again?
All right, welcome back. So we are now going to take a look at a few of the screens I have. I actually have some pretty interesting screens, I think, here for us to take a look on episode 6. First one is going to be Reddit. I don't know if you guys follow Reddit at all, but it's always an enjoyable read. Reddit, by the way, is one of the stocks in the Alti universe, right? So the way that we make money is that yieldmax trades options. They buy shares in a lot of these companies. Most of the companies they have in their portfolio, in fact, I'll just bring it up here for you. Most of these companies here, they actually own the shares of, and so they write covered calls, and then they also do puts on these companies as well, just in case, they have bad earnings, like, App 11 didn't do too hot recently, I hear. Coinbase didn't do very hot over their earnings period, right? So Alti made money going up and going down with your bullish play on the calls. Maybe I shouldn't say it that way, but on your calls, and then also on the puts there as well. So this is an interesting chart. I found this on yieldmax's website. I don't want to go over it today with you. If you want somebody to go over this chart with you with a fine-tooth comb, the ETF Inspector does it every single day. Highly recommend checking that out. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to look at Reddit. Just a few of the comments here. I found one that I thought was pretty humorous. You guys know how I invest, and you'll find why I find this humorous in just a moment. But let's take a look here. Question for someone who's considering Alti. Let's go take a look. I asked this question in all sincerity. I'm looking for investment paying a strong yield. If I bought $100,000 of Alti on January 2nd at 904 a share, today it would be worth $66,712. The weekly distributions would be $29,589. the total would be 96,312, a decline of 3.5%. Almost any other investment would be better. Why would I choose this investment? So true, right? I guess it really depends when you invest in the fund itself. You know, from January till April 4th, we had a really not so good market, and Alti, like we just seen right here, went down during that time. But from April 4th on the way up to now, it's been a bullish market. So I think it's important to understand it's all about when you buy, right? And what's your plan? What is your plan? Like Dwight Schrute said, you know, if the fire's on the door, what's your plan with that? I like this one. I thought this one was pretty funny, only because you know I don't use margin. But if you do, you know, what's your plan if we have a down day or two? Why is it down today? Well, the entire market, roughly the entire market, is down today due to high inflation numbers in the US, but also today is the X distribution date for Alti. And this is just built in, right? Yesterday it was announced that the distribution is going to be 10 cents per share. Again, that's the 5th week in a row. Cha-ching. Let's go check out this right here. I actually posted a screenshot of it on my Twitter, a screenshot of it on my Twitter today. By the way, if you're not following me, my name on Twitter is Health and Wealth Investor, or at Wealthy2034 is my Twitter handle. I posted that 5 weeks in a row, paying out 10 cents. That's 50 cents in that time. But I mean, the share price has been dropping over the last little while here. Last 5 days down 2.8%. Today didn't help at all, but I mean, it was to be expected. It's the X distribution date, everybody. So understand the schedule, right? Announcement day is Wednesday. X date is Thursday. Pay date for most people is Friday. With such a quick turnaround that generally every Thursday this does drop the value of the distribution. It just turns out the last now 2 Thursdays, including today, it dropped even more. Last Thursday it dropped. This Thursday it dropped. And it's down 17 cents at the time of this recording. Oh, wait 1 second. Down 8 cents at the time of this recording. Okay, it's coming back up a little bit here right now. It was down even more just a couple seconds ago there. So it's to be expected on Thursdays. Okay, so let's go take a look at some of the other comments on here. The uncertain path to freedom. I really like that that header, that title. It's very, very true. It is uncertain because we don't know. The share price is just so low. How low can it go with them paying out 10 cents per week, right? So if we have a prolonged down period, I want to be real here. What's going to happen to that share price and what's going to happen to the distribution too, right? So something to think about before you just push all of your chips in and say all in, right? So by the way, this isn't advice either way. This is just hopefully entertainment and a little bit of education there too. Some food for thought for you out there in the world. I want to talk about me. It's funny I say don't go all in, but for the time being, I've kind of changed my mind just for the time being. What I said I was going to do in previous episodes was I'm going to take my Nvdy. I'm going to take my Nvdy and I'm going to buy Msty shares with that. But Msty's underlier company strategies, volatility, implied volatility has really shrunk recently down to 58%, all the way down to 50% at one point here. And so for me, I feel like the distributions that are going to be coming from Msty will be lower for the foreseeable future. And because of that, I'm going to take my Nvdy, I'm going to take my Cony, I'm going to take my Hooy money, and I'm taking my Msty distributions, and I'm putting them all into Alti over here for the foreseeable future. If Msty's Mr. MSTR stock symbol volatility increases, implied volatility increases, then I might change my mind again and put more shares into Msty at that point. But I'm not selling them. I'm using the money from them to build this fund up over here. Now, what we're looking at is a little bit of forward thinking. This has not officially happened yet. I haven't got paid from my Nvdy which just came out, right? Same kind of deal as Alti here. Today's the X day of Nvdy. So I haven't got paid that, but I will be getting paid on Monday because of my brokerage up here in Canada. Not good, by the way. Getting paid a day later than everybody else. Not a big fan of that. But when I do, it should bring me to about 401 shares. Now, what's going to happen automatically is that Alti is going to drip. And at the time, I had 358 shares. That's going to buy me 3 shares on its own. That plus and combined with my Nvdy payment should bring me around 401. I have a feeling it's going to be like 402. I just didn't want to overestimate it a little bit there for you, which is cool. Current market value. Now, this is including the money that I'm going to be putting into this fund, which is roughly $270, something like that, is 2407. My unrealized loss at this exact moment, well, Monday's exact moment, if it was at this share price, which was, $5.90, would be $42 in unrealized loss. Now, I want to talk about this for a second. It's unrealized because I haven't sold the shares, right? You haven't lost anything if you don't sell. And so for me, I take this as an income producing ETF. It's going to pay me, 8 to 10 cents every single week. Unless that share price dramatically drops, then that most likely will drop with it. But here's my total distributions received in Canadian is $87. And then, that's $63.67 US, which is pretty awesome. And I mean, that's what I'm trading these funds in is US money. So pretty good, right? For 6 weeks, I dipped my toe in the first couple of weeks there, but recently bought way more and $63. So if I'm at 401 shares, I should be experiencing roughly $40 every week if this 5-week trend continues. Let's knock on wood together, everybody. Are you doing it? Hey, while you're knocking on wood, can you hit the like button for me? Thanks. So I should be getting about $40 a week. That's like $160 a month. And that's just dripping back into the fund, which is really good, helping me build up to my total shares that I'm targeting right now, which is 1,400 shares of Alti. Now, why have I come up with 1,400 shares of Alti as a goal? Well, if I multiply that by the 10 cents, it's about $140 every week. If I multiply that by 4 weeks in a month, there's one of my pillars. My pillars, remember I've been talking about, if you've been following the channel, trying to get to 6 pillars, paying me $500 a month. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards the 1,400 shares to help me build that solid pillar there. Now, once it hits 1,400 shares, I keep saying, I talk a big game here that I'm going to let it drip and drip and drip. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes once we get there, right? Plans change. Now, you can see here in July, I was 11% to my goal of 1,400 shares. Now in August, this bumped up about 10% this week, coming this Monday, up to 25% to my target of 1,400 shares. So I'm pretty happy about that right now. Next week, we're going to update this again. Next week, I'm going to be getting my Cony and my Hooy distributions, which will add more shares to this fund right here. So that's pretty good. A couple little things that you might find interesting. I've actually been recording each week here the AUM. AUM stands for Assets Under Management over at YieldMax here. Here's their website, by the way. And what I've been doing is recording their AUM and just to see the growth of this fund. And this is your money. You, right there. The person that hit the like button 2 seconds ago, this is your money in the fund. And so this is what they manage. This is how they go out and they buy the shares of all these companies and they write the covered calls and they do the puts and they have the collared structure and all of that stuff. They use this money right here. So right now, as of the recording of this video, the AUM is $3.18 billion. This is a massive fund, everybody. They have a massive weight on their shoulders here of their investors' money as well, right? So let's take a look at where I found that information. By the way, here's all the distributions, and I'm going to go over that number with you in just a second. But we'll scroll down here. There's a AUM right there, 3.18 billion. If you didn't know, YieldMax fund managers and company itself charges a little bit more to operate this fund because it is so involved. There's just so much work to it. So they do charge us more. They charge us 1.3% of our money to do this. So if you take the oh man, I've lost track. What's the number? 3.18 billion. You multiply that by 1.3%. That's how much money they make annually from us at this time. Now, this time next week, this number could be lower, could be higher. What's your prediction? Might be the same, probably not. I saw a lot of panic. Oh my God, what's the procedure? A lot of panic out there in the online world with the share price going down. So will it cause a sell-off? Have you created a stop loss in your portfolios to prevent it from dropping too far, right? Maybe prevent it or have it drop in somewhere in your comfort zone, right? Somewhere where you've made a certain amount of money, and if it hits a certain number, you sell it, right? So I wonder if any of that's going to happen out there in the world. Again, Alti ETF here, $5.90 right now. Now, the S&P 500, this is what everybody trades and kind of like, what's the word I want to use here? Uses as a level is the S&P 500. And so it's also down just a little bit today as well. I had a friend of mine, he messaged me, he said, hey, your videos are doing really well. I actually just started watching them and talked to me about this Alti. And so I said, yeah, it's a risky play. It's super affordable. It's, $6 and some odd cents when I talked to him yesterday or the day before. And he says, well, I got $500. And this is his first time investing into anything, right? And so I don't like to give advice to anybody, but he wanted to maybe dip his toe into it. And I said, well, you need $1,000 at Questrade to be able to open an account. He goes, okay, I got $1,000. So I said, you could do the risky, which is Alti, ULTY. That's the hot flavor of the month. Or if you don't want to get too risky, now he's a poker player, right? So he has calculated risk. If you don't want to get too risky, you could always go 500 into Alti, 500 into the VU, and just leave it and see which one grows and makes you the most money over a year's period and see how it goes. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to start investing, especially if you're investing with money that is within your limit, right? So if you're investing with money that, like this stock, Alti goes down $2 and you lose your house because of it, oh man, it's not a good idea in my opinion. So anyways, that's what I told him. You could do it two ways. Buy Alti, buy $1,000 worth of Alti, or you can go ahead and do 500 into each just to see which one you like better and to judge your own comfort level. Now I know he's a gambler, so I have a feeling I know which one he's going to pick, but just wanted to throw that out there. Here's my passive account, by the way. That distribution hasn't come in till tomorrow, but there you can see on Alti so far, 61 bucks Canadian after tax. I also have the Dividend Calculator open up here, and this is marketbeat.com. Thank you to one of my subscribers and viewers for commenting a few weeks ago. What I had in here was the initial annual dividend, and I took it right from YieldMax's website, which it says 86% yield. Well, if you do that over here, you'll notice that your annual distribution is quite a bit higher than what it actually is, right? So what I've done is I've kind of pinpointed this a little bit. I said, okay, we're getting paid 10 cents a share over the last 5 weeks. I multiplied that by 52. I was able to narrow down this percentage annual dividend yield here to 64%. And it's pretty darn close to annual dividend per share, $5.24, if everything stays the same. Make sense? So what I did, I want to go over it with you. I put an Alti individual stock. I said that the distribution frequency is every single week. I have included drip. I put drip on because I am dripping. Drip, drip, drop. Number of shares, 1,400. That's my goal here. And there's the current share price at the moment here. No annual contribution, and I've indicated that this is for the person in the back that always comments, what about the tax? We'll come back to minute 18 in the video, okay, when you say that. Dividend tax rate, 15%. That's my tax rate. You guys come in here and put in your own tax rate, right? What are you getting taxed? Maybe some of you nothing until you retire, right? But for me, I have this thing called a withholding tax because I'm from the far off land of Canada. and I have to pay 15%. So there's your annual dividend distribution, 64%. I put nothing in increases or share price increase, nothing. I kept it at 0. And you know what? It wouldn't hurt to maybe even like lower this down a little bit as time goes on, but we're not going to do that right now. If you've been paying attention to most of the funds, they start high and they're starting to work their way a little bit lower in distribution as volatility on those funds start to decrease. All right, so let's calculate those dividends. Let's take a look and see what we're going to do 10 years from now if we just pop 1,400 shares into it. And by the way, remember, I'm at 25% of that goal right now. And so what I like to look at is annual dividend after taxes. This whole section right here, this is what intrigues me the most about this fund. This is the reason I'm investing in this fund. So after year 1, I'm going to bring in $6,236 in distributions, and that's taxed already, which is really, really good. Year 2, $10,950 a year. Boom, right? Boom. I think what was I needed to make 53 grand a year to be able to afford my mortgage, my car, my what was it that was a stickler, my groceries. I don't buy steaks, everybody. I don't know, it's too expensive. 53 grand a year, right? So this thing looks like it's going to take me 5 years of set it and forget it, never look at it again, which would be silly, but I'm just making a point here. At year 5, I'm making $59,000. That means I could officially retire 5 years from now if everything stayed flat, didn't move, the world was perfect, our forests weren't on fire, our presidents weren't talking about too late Powell, and the wars weren't happening. The world was just straight and flat, and we know that's not going to happen, right, everybody? Right? We know that's not going to happen. But if it did, I'd be at 59,000. In year 5, and I could retire, right? So ifs and buts, what's and nuts. Let's take a look at a calculator that I've opened up over here. This is at dividendchannel.com. Wait a second. Just wait a second. I want to go back one second. I want to live the fantasy a little bit more. 5 years? What? You know what? Let's play it safe, though. Let's go to year 6, 104 grand a year. That pays all my bills. I can go do something else. I can go cut my neighbor's lawn for $50 a week. To buy 4 McDonald's meals, whatever, right? All right, so next thing I've got up here is the Dividend Channel website. So this is dividendchannel.com. I always find this one interesting. I've done a little test here. I feel like that test has disappeared. Yeah, there it is. So it did disappear. Okay, so let me go back. Let's go from April of this year, 2025. There it is. And let's go April the 4th until now. Let's test it against the VU. We're testing Alti against the VU. Remember how I said to my buddy, I buy maybe 500 of this, 500 into that, see where it goes. Let's test it out. Oh, wow, this is fun. So it's not going to expand for me. We're live, by the way. There we go. We're live. Guero, we're live. So check this out, everybody. So this is from April 4th, right? Everybody's like, oh, the VU, the VU, the VU. Well, let's say we put 10 grand. Let's just talk on the top one up here. And everybody's saying Alti, 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 right? Which one was better? So Alti is in the black. VU is in the blue. If you had to drip your shares, side-by-side comparison, apple to apple here, Alti would have outperformed VU by $2,000, and let's just call it like $100, right? Pretty impressive stuff here. We're talking about total return. We're talking about distributions in your pocket, and then you put those pocketed distributions back into the fund. Drip, right? That's drip, the top example. The bottom example is not drip, and you can see here the VU didn't change much, right? It didn't pay out much of a distribution, if anything at all. And then with Alti, you would have brought in $14,350, so a nice little increase of $4,000, $350 hanging out. You can go redistribute that money anywhere else you want. Maybe you go buy the VU with that. But I've always find this chart to be pretty interesting to look at. Again, this is dividendchannel.com is where I go and I look that up. Yeah, if you would like to follow more of what I have to say out there, my Twitter handle is sitting right there at Wealthy2034. I plan on doing more lives coming up here. I'm actually on vacation. Hey, hey, hey. I'm on vacation starting tomorrow for the next 2.5 weeks. I'm pretty excited about that. So lots more content coming from me to you. And I'm really excited to be able to hang out here with you guys. Maybe we'll do some lives during the week. But yeah, if you're interested in my content, I really hope you hit the subscribe. I'm trying to get to 10,000 people before the end of this year. I really need your help with that endeavor. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Today was episode 6 of season 1. My name is Mike. This channel is Health and Wealth. Have a great day. Bye for now.